NXT 2.0 is better than NXT Black and Gold. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. It's an NXT 2.0 review. That statement there might have been controversial. People might say you're talking absolute shit, but honestly, having watched NXT 2.0 now for a while, it's a lot better. It is a lot better than the old NXT style. The old NXT was essentially like, it was like Ring of Honor under the WWE, but under the WWE name. It was like an indie promotion with like slightly better, say slightly better, like better production and stuff like that, and some WWE rejects on it, and some old names, some indie stars, some indie rejects from, the last couple of decades or whatever. But NXT 2.0 actually feels like they're going in a different movement. You can see that they're bringing in more youth. They're getting rid of the older guys. They're just pushing like a new direction with the company, and it feels more edgier. The women appear more sexier. They're allowed to actually act like women and just not act like male wrestlers. They actually want to be women rather than be men. And for me, this show is probably the best show going on in wrestling at the moment. So we kicked off with Miz TV. Not sure why Miz TV was on NXT. Normally Miz TV makes me want to shoot my brains out, but this one wasn't bad. It was actually a decent opening to the show. Dolph Ziggler, though, kept saying that he only defends the title against superstars, and that LA Knight is not a superstar. And I get maybe they're in gimmick here. There's a storyline they're pushing, but I find it kind of ironic that LA Knight, Eli Drake, whatever you want to call him, is more of a superstar than anyone else here in the ring. Let's be real. Anytime, this is not a WWE made man. This guy, no matter what company he's been in, whether it be Impact, whether it be Power, or whether it be on NXT, this guy is always reinventing himself. He's always appearing like a star. And whenever he was in Impact, you looked at Eli Drake, you probably thought, fuck, he's the man. No, he's the top dog. He's going to be the number one star. He's the number one asset. And it's the same way Power, and it's the same way NXT. When this guy goes, he stands out. So to say he's not a superstar, is a ridiculous claim. It's like when they were going with Daniel Bryan and they said you're just a B-plus player. Now, the fact is, when they were going with that gimmick, when Stephanie McMahon and Triple H were saying to Bryan, you're just a B, the fact is, Bryan wasn't an A-plus player. They were telling the truth, but on this occasion, Dolph Ziggler isn't telling the truth because LA Knight is a star, and he corrected Ziggler. He says, yeah, you're right, I'm not a superstar, I'm a mega star. And then they booked a match for tonight. It's going to be, I said they booked a match, the Miz booked the match, so I'm not quite sure whether Miz was, 1 minute he's a talk show host, and the next minute he's a GM, and he gets to book world title matches. Does it make sense? Not really, but was it okay? It was alright, it was decent enough. Up next with Cameron Grimes versus Santos Escobar, number one contender for the North American title. Santos Escobar wins. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on this. It is what it is. Then with a promo, Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. I get to take it, they're teaming up to take on Toxic Attraction. I think they're in the finals of the Dusty Tag Team Classics. It was Io Shirai with broken English and Kaylee Ray, and the Scottish accent sounds fucking terrible. So, it was awful. It was awful. Then we had Toxic Attraction. So Toxic Attraction were looking for their belts. So Cora Jade stole all 3 belts of Toxic Attraction, the women's tag titles and the women's championship. Toxic Attraction went looking for them, came across Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. They basically said, you should be thanking us because we took out Raquel Gonzalez. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai says, we didn't need you to, blah, blah, blah. Toxic Attraction split up, they go to look for the belts. Wendy Chu says something along the lines of Toxic Attraction are pretty weird but hot. That is what it is. But all the women are on NXT. They're allowed to be hot. They're allowed to come across as hot. They're almost allowed to act sexy in a way. You don't get that in WWE. You don't get that on the main brand. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying all the women on NXT are like prettier, or hotter than, or more beautiful than the women on Raw or SmackDown, but they're allowed to act more sexy with their mannerisms, with their looks. So for that reason, they're going to be hotter. It's like Well, there's some women in WWE Raw and SmackDown that you would consider more beautiful than in the Ruthless Aggression era or the Attitude era. But back then, the women were actually allowed. They were more appealing because they were allowed to be hot. They were allowed to have bra and panty matches. They were allowed to have swimsuit competitions. Guys, fucking can barely speak here. I need a drink, but I'm trying to get through this review. And my point is, they were allowed to be sexy, and sometimes, I mean, let's be real. Sometimes a six. I'll break it down, right? Just for argument's sake, like a woman that could be a 6 out of 10. If she's allowed to like act sexy and act like a woman and sexualize herself, then she may appear hotter than a woman that is like, say, an 8 out of 10. But she's the woman who's 8 out of 10 is not coming across as a woman. She's coming across as just I'm a wrestler. I'm a female wrestler. Nobody wants that. And on NXT, you can see they're getting away from that. But yeah, I'm not going to go on a rant, guys, because I need a drink and I don't plan on ranting too much. So up next with A-Kid versus Kushida. A-Kid wins. It was his debut. He hit a phony looking, ringboard DDT off the top rope. Looked shit. A-Kid wins. We have Rey and Dominic confront Santo Escobar. Escobar says he's going to be the greatest luchador of all time. Dominic says you're looking at the greatest luchador of all time, Rey Mysterio. And then I think they said Santos Escobar is going to be the future greatest, and then Rey said, no, you're looking at my son's the future greatest. So, I mean, it is what it is. Dominic says he wants a match. Dominic says he didn't come here to talk. He wants to fight. He didn't come here to talk because he can't talk. So, that's it. Sets up a match between Dominic Mysterio. Yawning, guys, tired. I know it's unprofessional, but fuck, trying to get through this review. So Dominic Mysterio sets up a match with one of Santos Escobar's minions, and we'll get that later on tonight. Up next with Sari versus Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany Stratton's the rich girl with the daddy issues or something. I don't know. She attacks Saray before the start of the match and then beats her relatively easy, so it is what it is. But Tiffany Stratton looks hot. I mean, Sari doesn't look that bad either, to be fair. I mean, like I said, all the women on this look decent. Cameron Grimes said the odds are stacked against him. I mean, who gives a fuck about Cameron Grimes? Tommaso Ciampa was in the ring. Who's this name guy called? The Italian guy. The Italian guy says he could have attacked Ciampa from behind, but he wants to build his NXT legacy or whatever. He wants to face Ciampa at Stand and Deliver. Ciampa accepts. The Italian guy knees him in the nuts, and that's it really. So I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't really great. Then we have Solo Sikoa. No idea who this guy is, but he says he's ready to become champion. So fair play to him, but somehow I disagree with that. We then had Imperium interrupt the Creed Brothers. The Creed Brothers wanted to know who attacked them. Blah blah blah. Imperium came out. MSK were out. And they're going to have a three-way tag team match at Stand and Deliver. I mean, it is what it is. Imperium are better on the mic than I thought. And maybe it's not that they're good on the mic, but just that their accents, just make them feel different. So, you know what? Imperium's not bad. Imperium's fucking... I say not bad. This show's put me to sleep, man. Fucking hell. It's only what? It's not even 1 o'clock yet in the morning, and I'm literally falling asleep here. How's this happening? Up next we had... What did we have next? We had Indy Hartwell versus Percy Pirotta. They have a match. Pirotta's boyfriend comes out. I can't remember his name. And then Dexter Lumis comes out. Indy Hartwell picks up the win. And then they start kissing. And then Indy starts kissing Dexter Lumis. I guess they're trying to out-kiss each other. So both sets of partners are kissing each other. Well, Dexter Lumis is kind of just stalling there. He's not agreeing to this, so technically Indy Hartwell's almost raping. But by leftist, standards, by their guidelines, I mean, technically, Dexter Lumis isn't. He is, he's not. Fuck, what's that word called, man? Jesus Christ. Not approval. Ah, Christ, it's too early in the morning, man. It's fucking too early for this. But my point being, right, anyway, it was whatever. Fuck the lefties. Then Indy Hartwell jumps on top of Dexter and they start making out in the line on the ground, and Wade Barrett's losing his mind. So I mean, whatever. I mean, it's cool to see some male-female, sexual activities or whatever. but it just didn't really make a lot of sense, did it? Then we had Dominic Mysterio versus Raul Mendezo. Dominic Mysterio wins with a 619 frog splash. Who cares? I don't. Then we had Cora Jade setting up traps for Toxic Attraction. First of all, the jobber member of Toxic Attraction goes to grab her belt, and she gets like locked in a cage. And then we got the orange amber haired person. What's her name? Gigi or something. Her belt is like stuck in the trash bin or whatever. She tries to grab it. The trash bin lid falls on top of her. And then Cora Jade drives like a forklift on top of it, so she can't get out. And then Gigi's like, "Oh, when I get here, I'm gonna destroy you or whatever." And then Cora Jade said, "Oh, that's funny. I didn't know trash could talk." So I mean, it was like Home Alone style, like fucking traps here for Cora Jade. I guess it was all right. In the end, though, she goes out. She looks like she's gonna spray paint Mandy Rose's new Range Rover. But instead, she puts the spray paint down. It looks like she's just going to steal the car, I guess. She's going to steal the car and the belt. But Mandy Rose is sitting in the back seat. She attacks Cora Jade. She gets the upper hand. They start brawling on the outside. Cora Jade gets beat up. Cora Jade's laid out. Mandy Rose then spray paints her. And then the other two members of Toxic Attraction come, and basically Toxic Attraction stand over Cora Jade. I didn't think this made it much sense, if I'm being completely honest. Cora Jade goes around, she takes out the two tag team members of Toxic Attraction with traps, and I felt like the reason she was like trapping them was so she could get Mandy Rose all to herself. But then when she gets to Mandy Rose, Cora Jade's the one who gets outsmarted by Mandy Rose, and then at the end of the beatdown, the other two members just walk out as if they were already escaped. So they could have easily done a 3-on-1 beatdown, but instead they decided just to let Mandy Rose take care of it herself, and then the other two appear out of nowhere. I mean, logically, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It would have made more sense with like Mandy Rose being confronted by Cora Jade or something, and our other two, our backup is gone, our backup's been locked up in traps. But I don't know. I mean, Cora Jade, she gets 2 out of the 3, but then Mandy Rose outsmarts her. It was like, maybe that, I don't know. I mean, it was different. I mean, it was kind of cool to see all these segments like backstage and that, and doing something different. That's what I like about NXT 2.0, because you seem they take you away from the ring and the ringside more often. But I think this could have been booked a wee bit better, but it is what it is. It was alright. And then main event time, ZIGGLER versus LA Knight. Good match. LA Knight had ZIGGLER beaten. Rude put ZIGGLER's foot on the rope. Then they continue. ZIGGLER hits a super kick out of nowhere, pins LA Knight, and LA Knight's just beaten like that. Pretty much looks like an afterthought. Then Braun Breaker comes out and challenges ZIGGLER to a match at Stand and Deliver for the NXT title. Braun Breaker drops Robert Roode with a punch, and then ZIGGLER accepts, and that's it. Your main event, Stand and Deliver, is going to be Dolph Ziggler versus Braun Breaker. And that's it, guys, for your NXT show this week. Was it as good as last week's? Definitely not. But was it bad? No, it wasn't. Was it the best show this week? Probably will be, to be fair. It was better than Raw. I mean, let's be real. Fucking going to the dentist and getting all your teeth removed is better than Raw. So, aye. I'll give this NXT 2.0, I'm going to get a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10, guys. That's my rating. Let me know what you think down below. I'll catch you later. Gonna go and get a nap now because I'm fucking wrecked. Till next time. Peace.